Dog.
What's happening?
I was worried about you, dog. I ain't know if you was pulling up.
Of course I'm pulling up.
You ain't still. Your name is not Norm Still.
I had to rearrange the in apartment studio because move some shit around. So now we got a whole new layout.
Tell me about it. What you had to move around?
Well, frankly, I just realized after 6 months of residence that downstairs at the bottom of the parking structure, there's like an enclosed, secure place to keep a bicycle. So rather than my bike taking up a bunch of space and serving to hold up one half of my echo-proof chamber that I've concocted here, I took it downstairs to clear up some floor space, and then I had to move this into a corner spot so that a wall and the chair could hold up the thing so it's not super echoey. And ... here we are. But we got the mini mart, so we're rolling.
So you got the Martinez, the mini Martinez.
Exactly.
I really like that masculine approach to a martini, the Martinez, with this little twist on it.
Oh yeah,
I need to get that Joey and Deuce to make sure they make a Martinez song so we can make a Martinez drink.
Now you're talking. We could really do the LA version, the Cafe de Olla with the cinnamon. It's like really like put a LA stamp on it, just like pow, just east side the fuck out
of it. Did you read that lawsuit? I know it was 81 pages.
No, I'm not reading an 80-page lawsuit about Drake's pissy complaint.
You know what? It's not really about the complaint. That's not why I wanted you to read it. I think, see, your mind would have been able to see what I'm saying. So now I'm stuck by myself thinking about it.
What are we talking about here about this thing?
Well, I thought about it a lot, right? And I'm like, I'm looking at it, and it's most likely not a great chance for him to particularly win this lawsuit.
Sure.
Right. The lyrics are really hitting well. It's a battle. I think common sense would prevail. But I thought about like what happens if he was to win it. Like, how does the label have to react at that point when it comes to lyrics and records? You know what I'm saying? Like, do they start to scrub all of the records? You get what I'm saying? It's almost like this could single-handedly ruin hip hop.
Potentially. It does create a civil liability for that. It could also decentralize it a lot. I don't think that it... And also, like, even with that, like, there's enough precedent to where the Supreme Court was very generous in its assessment of public figures and how you're able to talk about them satirically or whatever else.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't seen a whole lot of viable cases where I don't mean just somebody said some stuff and like nothing happened or a kind of thing happened, but where there was actually a person that was shot for sure and claimed that, oh, this is the result of political rhetoric. Steve Scalise comes to mind, the lady from Arizona many years ago. It's not something I've seen the courts be willing to take up. I think if anything, it's a matter of, do you really want to open up discovery into this weird theoretical manufacturing of consent model that's being used here? This kind of likes to say, oh, you don't really know what you like. We're picking winners and losers for you and telling you what you like, kind of thing, which would throw into credibility, a lot of music stardom to some degree.
Yeah. I mean, I think the legal proceedings is one thing. No Ceilings Live, lunch hour, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon, Pacific Standard Time, right here on Digital Soapbox. Do me a solid, click that thumbs up button. If you're on Twitter, retweet this link. If you're on Facebook, share it. A couple partners, tag a couple partners and all that good stuff. It's time to go in. We do this stream to support the No Ceilings podcast. It releases every Tuesday. It's the 4th season. Below, we have a really great conversation dropping tomorrow. Um, the link is below. You can listen to the No Ceilings podcast on Apple Podcasts, iHeart Podcasts, or anywhere you get your podcast. No Ceilings podcast, executive produced by Charlemagne the God.
Black Effect Podcast Network and iHeartRadio.
There you go. That part right there. Shout out to everybody at the lunch table already. What up, Deuce? Baltimore Fats, what's happening? Happy C-Day, Jay. What's the deal? Sporadic. Much love, Brody. Glad to see you at the lunch table. All in. Brand. Squish, what's happening? Thank you for moderating. Appreciate that a lot. I ain't a football guy, so shout out to Name Brand. He was saying the Eagles and the Rams. I'm not a football guy. I'm a basketball guy. So all of our stuff been ruined for a while with the Lakers. You know, they making their money, so I ain't got no complaints. What was your weekend like?
Mine?
Yeah.
I didn't feel real good. Just laying low the whole time. Went to the gym, cooked some food. That was it.
I really spent a lot of time. I came to the studio every day. One day I didn't want to come, but I came anyway. But I was just thinking about this when I was reading that lawsuit. And again, like I said, it was a lot of pages you didn't have to read, you know, a lot of rhetoric, just simple things. But I just thought about like, damn, like even from the beginning of it, how it's framed, this frame is framed as to say like the reason like violence is happening to him is because of this song.
Mm.
And I just thought that was so disingenuous. Like, you know, I spent a lot of time on Twitter. Just really thinking and reading. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm always enjoying, you know what I mean, different people's thoughts. So a lot of times I laugh at different thoughts. But just reading through that lawsuit, man, like how it starts, bro, it's like the craziest thing I ever saw in my life from a hip hop perspective. You know what I mean? In rap or anything that has to do with it. And it just blew me away, dog, that somebody could be that disingenuous. Like every time I spend, like when I go on Twitter, when I go to these spaces to have conversations, when I go do podcasts, radio shows, any of that, I'm always speaking in good faith. When I talk to my friends, I always speak in good faith. Like I always conduct myself like I got some sense. And to watch somebody say, right, like, oh, this is why this is happening. Like, that's what I said. If you would have opened it up, the lawsuit opens up with, in the middle of the night on May 7, 2024, an armed group of assailants, an armed group of assailants drove to the Toronto house in which Drake and his family resided. Drake was inside. The car stopped in front of the residence. Someone yelled, "Fuck Drake," and at least one gunman began to open fire. One bullet went through the security gate and hit Drake's front door. Another bullet struck and wounded a security guard, who was also one of Drake's friends. While the car drove away, Drake and others in the house summoned help for the security guard and did everything possible to keep him alive. During the nearly 30 minutes it took for the ambulance to arrive, Drake and others labored to keep the man alive by applying pressure to the gunshot wound with towels. Blood was everywhere. After the security guard arrived at the hospital, surgeons worked quickly to remove the bullet, stop the bleeding, and save his life. Though it took days for his condition to stabilize, thankfully the security guard survived. The very next day, May 8th, 2024, a different intruder used his bare hands to dig a hole under the security fence surrounding Drake's Toronto house. He managed to dig deep enough to squeeze through and enter Drake's property. Fortunately, Drake's home security guards caught him before he was able to cause any physical harm. although the trespasser managed to yell racist slurs and threats against Drake before being escorted off the property.
What were the racist slurs? I'm curious. Were
I'm
they
not sure.
anti-Semitic tropes or were they anti-black racial slurs?
I
And
don't know.
I'm fascinated in part also by the difference between a slur and a trope, depending on the target recipient.
Right? Then it says on May 9th, 2024, the very next day, another break-in attempt happened. In the 2 decades leading up to the May of 2024, although Drake was constantly in the public eye, nothing remotely like these events had ever happened to him or his family. But these events were not coincidental. They immediately followed and were approximately caused by UMG's actions leading up to and on May 4th, 2024. UMG is the world's largest music company and also the music company that has represented Drake for more than a decade. Yet on May 4th, 2024, UMG approved, published, and launched a campaign to create a viral hit out of a rap track that falsely accuses Drake of being a pedophile and calls for violent retribution against him. Bro, they are saying this song, Not Like Us, caused his house to be shot up.
That's crazy.
This is why the first question I had for you when I read the first paragraph wasn't a joke. I don't see how this doesn't get thrown out based off of the actions. Damages occurred in the jurisdiction of the Canadian courts. He's suing in the U.S. courts.
I mean, minus the possibilities of him winning the lawsuit, right? The sheer audacity of this motherfucker to act like this song is why his house got shot up.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. That's
Why
not
do you
even
think his
cool
house
at
got
all.
shot up?
We know why.
We
his house
all
got
in the
shot up.
streets know why his house got shot up. He
Yeah.
knows why his house got shot up.
Yeah.
I'm not these other YouTubers or streamers, so I'm not finna talk about street business on this thing. But Pete, he knows why. He knows why. It's like out there. If you look, you could put it together real fast, right? But it's so disingenuous. You know what I'm saying? It's so disingenuous for him to act like this song caused that type of confusion. And you know, I don't mind going back and forth with people on Twitter. You know, every now and then I'll take my time and really just get into somebody's, you know, debate or conversation. I'll allow that space with them. You know, I'll have the human experience with most people as a human. But whenever I see things that are disingenuous, they immediately rub my spirit in a very awful way. It's in a very awful way. Like it bothers me, Pete, in a way that's not normal. You know what I'm saying? So it's like people keep talking about the depth of this lawsuit is about how they marketed this song or they marketed it incorrectly and illegally, and it's not. It's about this song causing him damage. And he's saying the person who, you know, the company that marketed this song should have went in and edited the song. That shit is just cowardly, cuz. That shit is just cowardly. That's chicken shit. From a chicken shit ass motherfucker. You put out your records, you do all of this shit, you compete, all the shit you've been doing, you feel me? And then you take a coward's route. I don't know how any fucking man or any human being reads that. I don't care who you are a fan of, bro. I don't care who you're a fan of. You know this is chicken shit. And just reading it, dog, is like the most saddest, disingenuous, dishonest thing I've ever saw in my. I've never saw nothing like this. let
But
alone in this space that we call hip hop or even rap music.
what's your thoughts on people saying that this is not him, this is him trying to stick it to the man? You know what I'm saying? What's your thoughts on that right there?
Then there's a million reasons to stick it to the man. But why are you sticking it to the man based off a song where you're dissing somebody and they're dissing you?
Yeah.
That's a disingenuous take. Him suing you, like, do you know the type of damage that could cause to a hip hop artist like me or any hip hop artist? Like, to where now they have to censor everything you're saying, not
That's a
just a
fact.
battle. Like, if it's possible for somebody to sue a record company because an artist says something about you,
Word.
you feel me? That's permanent damage to this specific thing. Why would a $1 billion company invest into somebody that they can get sued over?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
And it's just chicken shit. It's just punk shit.
Yeah. This actually is the closest thing I've seen, or not the closest thing I've seen. This structurally is the most similar, I could say, in this regard to when Ozzy Osbourne got sued for liability on a couple teenagers' suicides, but they sued him, not the distributor. But you're still talking about lyrical influence of audience action in that sense, you know?
Nah,
You know what? Even that's a little different. That's some punk shit too. But bro, you're suing the record company because they didn't edit a record where you're competing with another artist in hip hop.
Yeah.
You said the realest part though, with them saying that this should open the floodgates up, man. Word.
It can.
And why would you invest? And why would you invest in the artistic merits of this culture if you can be sued for what somebody says artistically?
Yeah.
What'll ultimately happen, I would guess, with this, like, let's say hypothetically it really gains a lot of traction, you'll probably see something happen really shortly thereafter that's very similar to, God, I forgot the name of the law that protects social media companies from anything that's transmitted over their platform message-wise. It kind of holds them not responsible the same way like AT&T is not responsible for any phone conversations that happens over the course of their infrastructure in that sense.
You got to bring the other shit up though too, G. The shit about the show in Australia. So
I hope that's not true. I don't want to believe that's true.
I hope it's not true too though, because that'd be just crazy though.
What was that?
You know what? It might be true, bro. It might be true because even for this lawsuit to be like, again, shout out to all Cuz fans who really just think this is about payola or think this is about him trying to get out of a record deal. You know what I mean? Like, I totally get the gist of it, but bro, you need to read the lawsuit. You'll realize real fast that's a paragraph. It's not about people talking about lawyers. Shout out to P. He said, one that assumes micromanagement. The lawyer's job is to try to win, so they are going to write everything in a way to show their client's best case. P, that's disingenuous and it's cowardly. It's irresponsible. Like, one thing you got to
might be, but it's a fact.
Said who?
So it might be those things, but it is a fact of how that game works.
Yeah, but again, it's not about the game, right? It's like, I understand how chicken shit you could be to win a game, but this is supposed to be the ultimate game of masculinity. And accountability comes in that space, if that makes sense. Like Pete, like, it's one thing if you sue somebody because they kick your ass. It's another thing if you get into a fight with somebody and they kick your ass after you hit them and you sue them. Like, I couldn't really respect a man that does that.
Sure, I get that.
Yeah. I can see if it's something that he has nothing to do with and it's happening to him. So I don't think this, I hope this is not real, but this would probably fit. So the security firm that does all of his security things in for Australia, it's called CVEM Security Group. It was supposed to be a message that leaked, and it's not a regular message. It said, please note, the artist also has additional restrictions on items that can be bought and used in the arena, such as PG Lang merchandise, clothing, hats, or any items associated with Kendrick Lamar's brands, inclusive of any merch acquired during Kendrick Lamar's previous tours, is a no-go. Please view the next page displaying some of the merchandise mentioned.
That's
Signage
crazy.
screening policy. All signs must be checked by venue staff at entry point. Any signs containing offensive language, derogatory, this shit is really small. Derogatory remarks or disses towards Drake or his teams will be confiscated immediately. This includes, but is not limited to, phrases like "not like us" or any other negative references to Drake's music, image, or associates. Moreover, any that promote any other artists or brands, PG Lang or Dreamville, contain
Dreamville.
yes, contain
That's not real.
political or controversial statements unrelated to the event, include memes or jokes at Drake's expense.
That can't be
You are
real.
encouraged to arrive with a less is best practice. However, if you have items cloaked, they can be cloaked for a $10 fee, with all proceeds going directly to one of our chosen charity partners.
Like the Drake Legal Fund. I'm not a
That
big
can't be
fan of
real.
Australia, so I think that not like us, AUS, is a great concept for me.
Bro, this shit is crazy, man.
They doing that?
This thing's real, bro.
That can't be real, man.
No, it's
That's
funny
really
during this whole thing, bro. I never said nothing bad about Cuz. Like, I'm getting there, bro. I'm getting there. Like, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Like, I
it's
can't
whole
even
shit,
lie,
man.
I'm getting there, bro. Like, I'm getting there. It's gonna go bad, bro. Like,
The question is, do you have it in you to do a sequel track entitled Drake Must Die?
man, it's coming. You know,
Nah,
it's
don't
funny.
put-
Like,
don't
it's one
put that,
thing to
bro.
laugh at it. It's one thing to joke. Like, you know, we all joke on Twitter. We all joke in these social medias, but none of us actually think dude is touching 4-year-old girls or 5-year-old girls. Like, you know what I mean? That's not the thought. That's not a real thought. So for him to parade in front of the legal system, like, that's really the thought versus him just being embarrassed is crazy.
Unless maybe it is.
Yes, but it's just odd to believe somebody could be that successful though, dog, and be a piece of shit. And it's
Is
it
it, I
just
mean,
it's just it's irritating my soul. Like
It
like
don't
I can't
surprise
even
me though.
express to you.
It don't surprise me at all.
it doesn't. I mean, I feel like maybe outside of like the real hip hop world, like a lot of actors, a lot of singers. I mean, these are trite, insecure, low class people. I mean, like the Barbra Streisand house phenomenon. Somebody posted a picture of the roof of her house on the internet, and she sued everybody in the world. And it was like a small amount of people had seen the picture, and then like the firestorm of media blowback, not blowback, but just coverage that her, shotgun spray of lawsuits as a result of that led to her house's drone imagery being shown like 1,000 times greater than it would otherwise have been. They're just like, I think a lot of those people are just kind of like that.
Shout out to Mimi Angel. Welcome to the lunch table. Think I seen you once or twice. Great point. This lawsuit will suppress free speech for artists. It will set a precedent. Record labels will need to vet lyrics and cover art. That's exactly what I've been thinking. Like, what stops all of this? And for people that could support it, man. Like, I don't even know what to think about people who support it. Like, I don't care how much you love one artist. Like, how could you support that? How could you support it?
I seen one thing that said this battle now we at the spot where it's basically hip hop culture versus Drake fans. You know what I'm saying? Because they like the only ones who's sitting back and fucking and siding with him when it comes to this shit, and fucking find some type of reasoning for him doing some shit like that. I mean, the shit is crazy though.
I think really this is a battle that comes down to, and it's the way it's playing out. Universal's not being made to look bad on this. Mm-hmm. In the greater scheme, I think it was probably concocted in a way to. There's no merit to this. There really isn't. There's nothing.
No, I don't think for 2 seconds he has a chance to win the case.
Yeah, right? No, that's what I'm saying. I think it was concocted for a settlement. I mean,
they're not going to settle.
They're not going to settle.
I know, because it hasn't done Universal any damage. I think the goal was we're going to put this out there. It's going to do potential damage to Universal. They're going to run from it and the bad PR, and they're going to settle. But it blew back in reverse and gave him bad PR. So now they have no incentive to settle. It's just going to get tossed.
You know what's funny, man? I usually pray for most human beings, bro. Pretty much all of them. This is the first time where I'm thinking like, yeah, whatever happened to him is worthy of happening to him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know that sounds crazy, but whatever happens to him is worthy of happening to him. It's cowardly. It's chicken shit. It's not about defending his name or his brand. It's not about none of that. It's a tantrum by somebody that this motherfucking culture has empowered. Yeah. It's a tantrum out loud. And it's a bunch of shit. Like, I couldn't, when I was talking to Charlemagne and Van, cuz I'm asking him, I'm like, how could he be this disconnected? Like, how could cuz be this disconnected to where it's like, I know what Jay Prince is saying. I know what Birdman is saying. I know what they telling him. I know they saying don't do this. But how could you be this disconnected to where it's like you could threaten how motherfuckers really do their thing, how they make it out of their circumstances because you chose to engage into a battle that somebody got the better of you on?
He was never connected in the first place.
I know, I've said it, but it's just like, even as a man, bro, like, I'm not saying the culture or morality we grow up in. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm telling you, just being a man. This is standard, Pete, for you. I don't think you would sue anybody, Pete, if you got into a fight, you start fighting and somebody got the better. I don't think it's street urban culture that says, hey, you know what? You need to be a man and be accountable for actions.
But this is the problem with the slippery slope principles that a lot of people have been complaining about for 20, 30 years. This is where you slip and fall to. Like, I personally don't believe in the concept of wrongful termination. You didn't start the company. If the company doesn't want you there, see ya. I've been wrongfully terminated flagrantly. And I knew this place was trying to get rid of me for months. They finally had the stones to concoct some scheme to fire me. I said, you idiots, you could have just told me to get the fuck out of here 4 months ago. I know that's when you wanted me to leave. I'm not going to sue you over this shit. I didn't start this thing. But, you know, when you create an expectation that facilitates victim compensation culturally, which is what has happened for a third of a century at minimum this is what people think. I've been wronged. I should be compensated for this. Whether they've been wronged or whether they just think they took a loss, either way, on their own books, they think somebody owes them something. And I'm telling you, if not a near majority, probably a majority of the country views the world that way. I don't agree with it, but I think it's the truth.
Shout out to
found
Earns.
something out. Okay.
Shout out to Earns. Maybe he's trying to get out of his deal and go independent. If that was the case, he could just release the last album of his deal and go independent.
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense.
And move on.
He has one album left. He could have turned in a party album and then went anywhere. This is not going to get him out of his deal. Like, why do you guys keep contriving? Like, why are you contriving this weirdness of an idea? That's not how you get out of a deal.
And he has the money to buy himself out of the rest of that deal. Go do what Yo Gotti did.
It's not even, it's not, that don't make sense. Like, and it's hard to have this conversation with people not in the music business because so much of it is built on fluff. If that was the case, Cuz could just turn in the last album and get out of his deal.
Yeah. He doesn't owe them a platinum album. He owes them 12 songs.
Yeah. And he has an album on cue. It don't make sense. None of the things, try to forgive me, none of the things people are talking about make sense. None of the things, even the concept of lowering his value and brand. Your value and brand is all built on exactly how many albums you could stream or how many songs, how many streams you can get, how great can your records be. None of this makes sense because it didn't stop his last album from streaming. It didn't stop any of these things happening. So I don't get how anybody, I guess if you ignorant to how the music business works, you know what I mean, you wouldn't get it. But being on the inside of it and being a part of it for over a decade, like none of it makes sense, Trap.
Yeah, but no, it makes sense because we don't know exactly what it is. He can't fool us from what it is. He can say all that shit right there. He's trying to stop the Super Bowl, man. He's embarrassed. You know what I'm saying? It's fucking, you started a fight and now you got your ass whipped. You know what I'm saying? We all know what it is. You know what I'm saying? You can't try to figure out, you know what I'm saying, if he has some other type of shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's all it is, really. Yo, I was gonna say was, this is all in his texture though. This is where he come from though. Was you in the room that day when we found out that the motherfuckers try to sue the fucking TV company with a fucking?
I told you, I read it to you.
Yeah. He tried to sue. Pete, you heard about that shit, Pete? He tried to sue the. He was on the guy. Tell him last night that shit.
So he was a part of Degrassi. It was about 4 years ago, and the Degrassi executives came forward. No, I'm saying they reported on a story 3 or 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
The Degrassi executives came forward and said that Drake was trying to sue them, right? Because they threatened a lawsuit because he felt being in a wheelchair. His threat was being in a wheelchair actually hurt his chances to be successful in hip hop. And he would pull out of the show if they didn't get him out of the wheelchair. And the executives brought him into the office and they talked to him and they said, hey man, like, what's the problem? He said, well, no, we didn't send that. And they're like, but this came from your representative. And he's like, oh, well, we didn't. He said, well, do you have a problem with Jimmy being in a wheelchair? And he kind of said, yeah, I don't really like that. Like, I don't like that. I don't think it's good for my brand. And they like, bro, you got shot. You're in a wheelchair. Like, there's nothing more hip hop than that. And it was crazy to listen to these executives from this TV show understand exactly how, you know what I'm saying? Like, it still kind of carried the same energy of overcoming something, and he didn't. He thought it would be a bad idea.
Yeah. No, yeah. Well,
I mean, that's what it's just his style, though. That's what he do. You know what I'm saying?
Didn't the actor who was in the wheelchair in Boys in the Hood sue John Singleton, though? Isn't it just based off of that filing?
I don't know. Did he?
No, I made it up.
Oh, you made it up. Shout out to Chris.
I'm like, what the fuck? I never heard of that. And that was crazy, though. So I just show me that's what he do. I guess it's the Jewish side of him right there, man. Listen, if I don't get my way, I'm gonna sue.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
that's
what he's doing.
That's starting with money side. I mean, I come from lawsuit heaven. It's not just Jewish people doing that. I don't want to knock Jewish people for that. It's like I told you, like the worst punch I ever seen landed in high school in my life resulted in a 6-figure lawsuit because some dude threw his books down and stunted at the guy like this, and the other guy was like shit and clocked him, and the parents sued the other parents.
Damn.
For 6 figures.
Damn.
Nobody Jewish involved.
Shout out to Nesta Goat. Welcome to the lunch table, Brody. I never saw you. Welcome. UMG about to block everything he does. He might not be able to release the last album. Warner Brothers did that to Prince.
Warner Brothers thing.
For sure. That's guaranteed. Like he's not gonna be able to release it at this point. You know what I mean? They're gonna give him shit. And if they even did let him, they for sure wouldn't support it. They're not going to let him release it on another label. They have exclusive rights to his music. That's why I'm saying that the business part of it that everybody's talking about doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
like and it's hard for me. Now maybe it's the humble beginnings. Maybe it's growing up in Compton and Watts. I don't know what it is that makes me think nobody's ego could be that fractured and big.
It might be strategically like, look, this clocked my career that was on borrowed time anyway. I need to get a check on the way out the door. That kind of stuff happens.
Yeah, but that don't make sense. He wasn't going to not be able to make money in the business. Like it wasn't like because he lost the battle, his career was over. That's just not how hip hop works. That's not how rap music works. Like Ja Rule still had a couple platinum albums and hit singles before, you know, what really caused the end of Murder Inc. We've talked about it is when the feds came after Irv Gotti.
If that were true, then Ja Rule would have got signed someplace else.
Yeah, but it's more to that, right? He was trying to hold out with his man. They remember the feds, they wouldn't do business with Irv Gotti. He signed to Irv Gotti. So they couldn't do business anywhere else. And he just rolled it with his homeboy. He just rolled it out. It wouldn't have been like Ja Rule couldn't have got signed at another label. This is not true. Like, it's not the battle. No battle has ever ended a rapper's career. What they do after the battle determines what happens to their career. It's just a rap battle. There's a whole league of people rap battling every week, and they lose and win, and people come back and battle again. Like, you didn't lose. If that was the case when he lost to Pusha T, that would have been the end of his career. Or when Jay-Z lost to Nas, that would have been the end of his career. It don't work that way.
But he didn't lose the PR battle in those.
But I'm saying he didn't lose the PR battle. He's making the PR worse. Like, everything he's doing post the battle is making the PR worse. The battle would have just been over. Like, yes, we would have talked about the day we saw that fight. You know, we saw, you know, Sugar Ray Leonard lose to Duran, but he came back and he won the next fight. Now, when he fought him again, like, it's normal. You can lose. Losing is not the end of life.
That's Sonny Liston.
Yeah, but Sonny Liston came back and won after that. After he lost, still.
George
Foreman came back. George Foreman lost and came back 20 years later and did something no other fighter in the history of the heavyweight division has ever done.
He did what Ja Rule did. He went into hibernation for 2 decades and came back in a reunion tour.
Yeah, but that's more about his own thing. Shout out to Ace. Thank you for the $5, man, feeding us some lunch at this lunch table. Yo, Glasses, I got to ask, what you think about Drake not allowing PG laying outfits at his new concert out of concern for safety?
You just mentioned that.
We just mentioned that too, Ace. Much love, bro. Welcome to the lunch table.
Is that because bullies might, like, whip you with a T-shirt like in a locker room style? You could get hurt by one of those shirts more than, say, another shirt like a Hanes shirt?
Nah, I don't think that's the reason. Nah, I don't think that's the reason.
Just throwing it out there.
Nah. I think he's trying to. I think he feel like he's already been getting trolled for the past 8 months. He's like, yo, listen, I already know they're gonna probably fuck around and pull up to the fucking show and troll me in the front row with nothing but PG Lane shirts and shit like that. So let's bar them from coming in the stadium. You know what I'm saying? You can't avoid the troll, though.
I think it is interesting that he is performing that far away from Compton. I mean, it doesn't get any further than Australia.
Can't see right there.
Shout out to Name Brand. Thank you for the comments, my boy, at this lunch table. The artist formerly known as Drake coming. You know what's funny? When I first got my record deal with Cash Money Records, and I was in with my attorney, Bob Lieberman, and I was reading through the contract, the final contract that they sent me that I had to sign. And it said it started with the artist and his likeness.
Yeah.
And I remember asking Bob, like, what the hell is the artist and his likeness? And he goes through this story. He said there was an artist in the late 70s and 80s that was signed to Warner Brothers. He didn't like how things was going with his contract, or they were supposed to change, I think, the royalty rate of his contract, and they didn't. And he started to release music under a symbol. And he said after that, they added the concept of likeness. He said that artist was Prince.
Yeah.
So they actually did things to actually combat that. But
do you think that Drake, instead of writing slave on the side of his face, could write plaintiff on the side of his face as a brand revival principle?
I think so.
No.
Shout out to Mimi Angel. Thank you for being at the lunch table and contributing. Appreciate that. Glasses, you are trying to rationalize something that is root in emotions. He is throwing a temper tantrum. He hired lawyers to fight this fight for him. You know what? It seems that way, but I just cannot believe. Like, this is just unfucking believable. This is a grown-ass man.
This is what happens when you grow up in a different ecosystem and then exist in a compensated echo chamber for 20 years. I mean, like, you see weird, like, super eccentric, you know, like weird famous white people that get into like bizarre circles. And this is that playing out in a different way. You're a weird antisocial person. You're not a mainstream personality. You're some sort of, you know, savantish type individual, and then you exist in this tiny circle of people that are happen to be on the payroll for 20 years, and your perspective is warped. Imagine you didn't start off regular.
Like, I know I said 7 years ago that dude wasn't hip hop, but I didn't think he was this far away from the culture. Like, I didn't think he was this far away from the culture.
I don't know what street it is. Like in Long Beach, it's like you either on one side of Cherry or the other.
Shout out to P. Regardless, if you believe his business was hurt or not, what option does a business have? Because it's kind of sounding like you're saying lay down. What do you mean lay down? There's no fight to fight, P. Like, all he has to do is release music. He's
That's it.
Drake.
That's all he had to do.
All he has to do, dog.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
It's tantamount to General Motors suing Tesla for eating up market share of their EV division, or something, you know, or suing a governing body like the Department of Energy and saying, "Oh, Department of Energy, you allowed for Tesla to gobble up all of our market share from the Chevy Volt, which sucked."
Like, I could see if this battle stopped him from being able to release music. It didn't. I could see if this battle stopped him from, like, if they was like, this Not Like Us song is so good, we don't want to release your music, Drake, anymore. We're letting you go off the label. Yeah. And then, you know, other labels like, you know what, the way you lost that battle, we don't want to sign you. That's not what's happening. I can see if he put out Not Like Us, and then Australia said, you know what, we're going to cancel these concerts. We don't want to lose the money on you because people don't want to see you anymore. They don't want to come to your concerts because of this Not Like Us song. Like, nothing has changed.
Yeah. The irony.
Like, what the fuck are y'all talking about, bro? What are y'all talking about? He didn't lose any. Nike did not release a press release. Well, you know what? These new facts and this Not Like Us says we need to actually disassociate our business with Drake because of Kendrick's allegations, and we know they're true. We're cutting off your business. That's not what's happening. So he didn't need to do anything for his business, but do business. He didn't need to do anything for his business, but do business.
Continue on
Nothing
working, man.
changed after the battle.
Didn't the Raptors revoke his season tickets though?
No,
What?
no.
Wow.
Nothing happened. Like I was telling somebody on Twitter, like they was like, man, Kendrick killed him. I said, no, Dot didn't kill him. We're not watching a murder. We're watching a suicide.
Yeah.
They gave him the rope though.
It's like how online bullying leads to a suicide.
It's not. Shout out to Todd. Nike wouldn't announce something like that unless it was true. They didn't sever their business, Todd. Nike didn't say, "Hey, we're severing our business." He didn't lose any contracts because of a battle. People don't lose contracts because of a battle.
What do you want?
What's happening?
Yeah, I mean, there's teeth to contracts. I mean, you have to say he's in breach of contract. Is there a don't lose battle clause in the contract?
Man, that's a good contract clause. If you lose a battle, we don't owe you any more money. You know what I'm saying?
Then he'd be suing to argue that he actually won. Technically, I won because.
It's just unbelievable to believe somebody's mind could be this messed up. Like, I'm struggling to believe a man's mind could be this messed up. That's a struggle for me.
That's disappointing.
I cannot believe he could be this emotionally bothered by losing a battle. Like, don't get me wrong, I've lost things. My mother passed away. The federal government took everything I had twice in my life. Right? I've lost things, but I've never let them completely compromise my whole journey. Shout out to Todd. Man, I got a big hypothetical. What happens to the industry if UMG loses this case? If it's the end of hip hop in the record business, if UMG lost this case, it's the end of hip hop. At that point, they will start to censor every last thing an artist. If one artist or if a person can sue a record company because of what an artist says, why the hell they would have to censor everything, and immediately they would scrub everything cultured from it, because that's the whole point of it, right? The conversation. So it would be the end of hip hop if he won. Hip hop would forever be done. It would go into a space where it's nothing but clean people doing it, saying clean and regular things that nobody care about. Shout out to Lucky Lawrence. Glasses, do you think the creative thing to do here is remix to Not Like Us addressing other artists like Joey Badass? Nah, you can just leave that alone. That's just what it is. Shout out to Squishy. No matter the color or creed, Glasses, I think men are men. I don't care what creed or color. I think this is like a standard amongst men. Shout out to Earns. So what is the ultimate outcome after this lawsuit? Drake and his lawyers know exactly what they are doing. Nothing happened for no reason. There's a purpose behind all this. I don't think that's true.
That's not always
See,
true.
like I thought to myself just like that initially. Like I've always gave Drake entirely too much credit for being intelligent. I've always gave him too much credit for being like his success. And the reality is it's a lot more into that than he is.
What's he suing for?
Defamation.
Amount.
They want the court to name it.
Got you. No, I mean, like there are legally I'd like to disclose too much. I'm very, very close to a ongoing lawsuit that is having active mediation happening as we speak right now. The distance between parties is so vast, it reflects the subjectivity of perspective and interpretation of reality and how distorted that can be between parties. The idea that yeah, you can't have somebody who's highly talented as a litigator believe push comes to shove, I think I can win this thing based off of A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Another guy goes, based off of my ability and my track record, you don't stand a chance in hell based off of X, Y, Z. That's like every lawsuit. You know, that's half of every lawsuit in a courtroom today. So, I mean, never be amazed.
Shout out to P. His whole claim is things have happened business and safety wise. I'll take his word like I take your word. Hate speculating, but re-ups could be affected. It's just not true, P. That's just not true. It doesn't say that. He's only claiming things have happened safety wise. They're not claiming in the lawsuit nothing has happened business wise. They're not saying, hey, you know what? Universal went from offering us, 600 million to 200 million. That's not what's saying. He hasn't said one thing has happened business wise in this whole thing.
Yeah, so
Which
what
is
is
probably
this?
why he's going to lose the lawsuit.
A cease and desist order he's looking for and some sort of a statement?
Yeah, he wanted Universal to pull the record down in July. Came out May 4th. He wanted them to pull it down roughly 60 days later. So he reached out to UMG and said, hey, you know what? This song right here is causing harm to my safety. And Universal, they not the most street people in the world, but they also ain't stupid. If me and Trap know what happened and why his house got shot up, then they know why his house got shot up. They're not crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't give any credence to what he was talking about. So he was saying, like, he was threatening the lawsuit. And UMG said, you would look stupid trying to sue us over a battle that you were in with another rapper where you're insulting him and he's insulting you. And he just went through with it anyway because he couldn't get them to do what he wanted them to do. He wanted them to he wanted them to censor Kendrick Lamar's record. And it's weird because he didn't censor his own record. And that's cowardly.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
And bottom line is, it's like closing the door after the horses have already left the barn. At that point.
Shout out to Trees, my lord. Much love, bro. Thank you for the $5. Appreciate you feeding us that lunch, homie. Bruised egos can lead to your own death. That's what happened right now with Drake. It looks like that you guys are all right. Shout out to Todd. Glasses, we can't speak too soon. We don't know what proof of whatever it is he allegedly have. Yes, we do. It's not soon. He just doesn't have. He knows why his house got shot up. That's just not true. Dude probably could pull something out that exposes UMG for unethical practices. That's not what he's suing for. He's not suing UMG for unethical practices. He's saying he's suing them because they put out a diss record and marketed a diss record that was disrespecting him. It's not about unethical practices. You guys kind of keep trying to really guide the narrative into something that's not the lawsuit. The lawsuit is over specifically what Kendrick Lamar said to him and UMG promoting the record where Kendrick Lamar said those things about him. It's not anything else. Like, I can read this lawsuit to you. We could go through all of those lyrics. You feel me? And at the end of the day, you would have to know that's about the lyrics. And he said that would be a huge plot twist. Nothing, Todd, is going to make a huge plot twist. This can't go anywhere but bad. And you can't say this is not true because only the courts know what's going on. The courts don't know what's going on, Todd.
That's probably the last person that knows what's going on because they're
and Todd, like, look, man, this is not a battle. Like, you're not in a battle. Like, I'm like, this is a regular thing. Back to that point. Glasses, we can't speak too soon. We don't know what proof or whatever he's allegedly have. Yes, we do. We do know what proof. We do know the proof. He doesn't have proof that nobody shot up his house because Kendrick Lamar dropped Not Like Us. That's ridiculous. He could pull out a huge UMG for unethical practices. He's not suing them for unethical practices. He's suing them because they marketed a record dissing him. It's no plot twist. That's the actual lawsuit. It's a defamation lawsuit. He couldn't sue them for anything else. He couldn't sue them for payola on another record. He couldn't sue them for anything else. He's suing them because they marketed a record where somebody had inflammatory material about him on a record. They promoted it. That's what he's suing them for, Todd. Like, you gotta kind of stay focused. Like, it's not One of those things. Glasses, you are being super biased, bro. The suit mentions payola and bots, also, which is unethical practice. If that's true, you got to stop being biased. That's not the point. He's not suing them because they marketed payola or bots. He's suing them based off of the other 70 paragraphs where he's talking about the lyrics of the song. Come on, man. Like, you got
that was the lawsuit he dropped. That was the lawsuit that he dropped. The first,
and it wasn't a lawsuit.
One.
He was trying to petition them.
Petition.
Yeah. He was trying to bring criminal charges. He wanted the federal government to bring criminal charges on them for these things. That's why he called it a corporate RICO.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That wasn't what he was trying to do. He dropped that case because it was ridiculous and went straight for defamation, saying they're marketing a record that Kendrick Lamar has said these unsavory things about him. Like, listen to the stuff. I'll read some more of it. Here it is. Here's more lyrics.
Do you find it interesting that he's suing the record label for defamation and not the artist himself?
Because they convinced him, you know what I'm saying? They convinced him that it would make him look bad. He said within the first minute, the recording identifies Drake by name and states that Lamar has heard the Drake as a predilection for underage women. Say, Drake, I hear you like them young, in quotation marks. The next line is a thinly veiled threat that Drake should be careful that he never ends up in prison, a place where child predators are notoriously the targets of violence. You better not ever go to cell block 1. The recording continues to say that any woman who falls in love with Drake should be careful to hide her little sister from him. Next, in a perverse reference to Drake's 2021 album, Certified Lover Boy, certified pedophiles. In a play on the dual meaning of minor, a person under the age of 18 in a musical scale, the recording says that Drake is trying to strike a chord and it's probably A minor. Later in the recording, Lamar describes Drake as Malibu's most wanted. The recording continues to say,
is he suing because he doesn't own a home in Malibu? He's Calabasas' most wanted.
This is unbelievable. The recording continues to say that Drake and people in his circle need to be served with a subpoena because a predator moves in flocks, and asserts that Drake's name got to be registered and placed on neighborhood watch. Like, y'all got to get this.
This is in a lawsuit, man?
That's in the lawsuit, bro. That's in paragraph 54 to paragraph 63. They just go through the lyrics.
Yeah.
Listen. The recording also repeatedly suggests that violence should be used against Drake because he is a pedophile, like the sound of someone being beaten up. The recording repeats, wop, 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 and then says Lamar will fuck him up. Later, the recording threatens that if Drake comes to Oakland, where Lamar grew up, he will make it out. He won't make it out alive. I think that Oakland show gonna be your last stop.
Did you grow up in Oakland?
No, Kendrick did not grow up in Oakland.
He should sue him for defamation.
Like, fuck a caption, but through physical violence. Want action, no accident, and I'm hands-on. He fuck around and get polished. At the end of the recording, the lyrics threateningly repeat, hey, 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 run for your life. Hey, 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 run for your life. Which that is not even about Drake. That's about people running away from Drake. The recording contains numerous additional statements that imply the existence of evidence to support the allegations against Drake. The recording threatens that Lamar could reveal more secrets about Drake. Rabbit hole is still deep. I can go further, I promise. And that the public will believe him. The audience is not dumb. Shape the stories how you want. Hey, Drake, they're not slow. The recording continues by making reference to several Drake songs and accusing Drake of being a liar for denying allegations of criminality. The family matter and the truth of the matter, it was God's plan to show y'all the liar.
I want to hear them break down that. Did they break the con lines apart down too?
Yes.
Let me hear that.
Furthering, okay,
Let me hear that.
the recording also makes a vulgar attack on Drake's brand OVO. What OVO for? The other vaginal option, pussy. And let me hear you say OVO, OVO, say OVO,
Oh
parentheses
God! Oh
OVO.
God! Oh
Furthering the
God!
recording's refrain that Drake is not like us. The recording alludes to Drake's Jewish heritage, saying that Drake is not a colleague, but a fucking colonizer.
Ah, get him out of here!
Bro,
Yo,
that
that's
is
crazy.
crazy.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Get him out of here.
Pete, you can't make this shit up, bro. Like,
Now,
you can't make this shit up.
when this story gets told 20 years from now, and like some Hollywood story should be, oh my God, be like, this is crazy. This is a movie, B. It's a bad movie at that, but it's a movie though, B. This is like a fucking Lifetime movie or some shit like that, B. This nigga's a fucking bird. This shit is
Bro,
crazy.
shout out to Todd. Yeah, but people gonna flip the narrative and be like Kendrick Sue too. Law is law. You got to stand on business. I don't know. Y'all got to stop using that term. I don't know what the hell business that's not what that mean. Like going to if you work at McDonald's and you flipping a hamburger, that's not what they mean when they say standing on business. That's not. It's cool, bro, but that's not what they mean. Shout out to Trees. Trees is really feeding us. That's $15 from you. Thank you for the $5, my boy.
Yeah.
I think Drake not dropping music because he don't know what to rap about anymore. He can't rap about being number one anymore or women in the same light, in my opinion. That's not true, Trees. Like Drake can rap about number one. He was still the number one most streamed artist last year, whether it's his catalog or whatever. Like he's not some run-of-the-mill artist where he can't drop songs. Or
And
he
there's
rap about
100
women.
million
Women,
women in this country that would love to hear a song about how they should be given a bunch of expensive things for free. That
yes.
market will never dry up nor die.
I think again, it goes to the people in this and at the lunch table that's saying Drake is not dropping music because he's throwing a tantrum. It's not like I can't logically, I would love to believe somebody that's more successful like Drake, somebody that's achieved more in the music business like Drake is smarter than I am. But that don't actually, or more intelligent, that actually doesn't mean it's true. Like somebody even as successful as that can make dumb ass moves. Like dumb.
Yeah.
Absolutely dumb moves. And I cannot help but to understand and be aware of how dumb of a move this is. It's just dumb.
Yeah. He's turned himself into the Antonio Brown of hip hop.
I think he could shout out to the homie Kelvin. Kel, what's up, baby? He ain't gonna be able to pop it like he used to. Of course he can. Now, are we gonna believe it? It's different, but trust me, there's enough people in this world that will believe it. None of it makes sense to me, Kelvin, because like I don't get like it's not like he lost anything on his brand. Like, yeah, there gonna be some people that's gonna make you work harder to get their attention, right? They to bring credence to what you're saying. But he is in a position where he had the greatest companies in music history supporting what he does. So it doesn't make sense. There's no way. There's no way possible that any of this makes sense. He can get on the mic and say anything. He can get on the mic and make records. Like all he would have to do is work harder. But it's Drake. So none of this makes sense to me at all. Shout out to Not For Sale, man. We appreciate the $5, bro. Much love to the 206. You know what I mean? The Northwest. Drake should have stuck to his comeback season so far gone persona. I feel like the industry empowered his fake tough image. Possibly. I'm not mad at that. I mean, but I also think, again, even when I'm listening to him talk about, Like it's almost like he actually believes, not like us, really changed his career. I
He
cannot
he dropped
believe
11
that.
songs and they ain't hit. He dropped 11 songs and ain't not one of them cracked what his normal, you know what I'm saying, projections that he was doing. It was like 11, 13 songs. They ain't do shit.
That's
Yes,
true. So you think he saw that and was like, I'm over. Like this one song.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's true because he is.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's different when you're not substantive and he's not. Okay, let's put that to bed. A lot of his shit is predicated on the idea that he's cool, thereby anything comes out of his mouth is cool enough or whatever. You take that out, and now you're just a shitty rapper.
Cultural cachet, but he's good at he's a great record maker still, even if he lost a ton of cultural cachet.
But if you got a scarlet letter next to your name, that's really, really damaging.
I think this shit all comes down to, you know what I'm saying? Like he needed to just take a break. People was tired of that nigga, man. I mean, that's, excuse me, N word, but people was tired of him though, man. Like he needed to just sit back and relax. You know what I'm saying? Even after the battle, he should have took the L, sat back, relaxed. Let us see you next October, bro. Like, come on, you ain't giving nobody a break. That's how you know they were just trying to milk that cow for as much they could get out of him, B. For real, for real. You know what I'm saying? Because it seemed like he couldn't take a break. It's like they wouldn't let him take a break.
I don't think it's him.
Think it was him keep wanting to go out there and put them heels on?
Why not?
That's what happens.
Like you gotta understand what it's like. I was saying to y'all the other day on Clubhouse and ADHD. It's like he wanted to do this. He realized not only would this change his fortune, but it also would change his cultural cachet. Like I'm starting to realize how valuable this street urban culture is. Like it's on another level because like he was ready to sue the company that pretty much changed his life, right? You're going to sue, you're threatening to leave the job, right? You're threatening to leave the job of this Nickelodeon show. Let you tell it, that put you and your mom in a better position, that got you to buy her car, a nicer place. And you're going to leave it because you're worried about your reputation when it comes to making records. You feel me? That's showing me, again, this culture, the thing that I defend so vehemently is important. Like it's everybody else sees the value, even if us in the center of it don't truly get it. Oh, like they like when I first thought Drake wasn't hip hop based off of the studies, I knew, you know what I'm saying, it was different. Like I was like, oh, this is different. Like this is special. You know, these New York brothers really gave us something special. And then at that point, I knew that how I felt about it and how I was going to stand up for it. But man, when I watch Vlad or Adam or anybody else truly become millionaires because of it, just listening to some brothers, you know, from the same country that all these other people from, but like this story specifically is that valuable. Shout out to Mimi Angel. Thanks for the comment at the lunch table. Appreciate you. What's crazy is the anti-Semitic aspect put in this lawsuit regarding the song. Ironic because the boss of UMG is Jewish. They don't even think they know how this rap battle stuff go. They've been around this business so long, and they actually try to get you not to get into rap battles because they really be like, they don't really matter, but people gonna do what they do. Shout out to Ruffian TV. Hey, G, mark my words. K-Dot is going to end up in court. He's going to realize it makes no difference in the eyes of the community whether you sue the company or the person for a song.
I don't understand that. It doesn't make sense. That seems almost juxtaposed.
I mean, maybe, but I think he'll lose every lawsuit. I think he's going to lose every, like, all he's doing is digging himself a deeper hole. And
you mean he's
saying
gonna
he's saying after UMG,
after he loses the UMG, he's going to try to sue God.
Kendrick.
Yeah, but he's going to lose every lawsuit. Like, that's the problem. Like, you're going to keep losing because this is not true. This is not real.
Unless he
and
loses on a standing issue, it's not going to matter, which he won't. So
yeah.
it won't.
Shout out to Cam. Thank you for the $5, brother. I am praying for Kendrick. I wish Drake would go away. I don't want him to go away. I just want the man to get back to making some damn music and stop with this done shit. Just
I
stop.
don't want him to make any more music. I want him to go away. He is a massive amplifier of pussy interest rates, and I find it disgusting.
Shout out to P. So are you saying if he was in a different position, you would believe he took damage? He didn't take damage because battle rap doesn't damage you. What you do after a battle will mess you up. Like what's battled is what's damaged is his ego. His business is not damaged. Universal, like, listen, if let's say all of those numbers were true. Let's say he was on the verge of getting 600 million this time, right? Like all those numbers are true. And Universal was like, you know what? You lost that battle. We're not gonna give you 600 million. Warner will give you 600 million. Like you still have negotiating power. You're still Drake. If you put out the album with Party and that album sells 2-3 billion streams, if it does 2 to 3 billion streams, you can go to Warner Brothers and say, hey, they sleeping. Let's do this for the money.
Can't go to Warner. They said, old boy, son is over at Warner. So he said, the only place he could probably end up going is Sony.
I mean, wherever you can go anywhere. You have the keys to the castle.
Yeah, there's all kinds of ways you could sell.
I see him going to gamble.
Rights.
Shout out to Mario. This is past a rap battle, G. It's war. Anything goes. It's not war. Only people who've never been in war think this is war. This is not war. This is just a rap battle.
So this be my question though, right? So he could do that suit right there, right? So now can Kendrick come back around and do a suit and say, yo, he said I was a wife beat. He said I beat my wife. Or his wife could do that, or
yeah, hell yeah, by that same standard.
Or say, yo, he said my best friend is the real father of my child. Like, bro, like, come on, man. This shit is getting wicked, man. Like, this shit is it's take the L, walk with it. You know what I'm saying? I think after February 9th, if that's when Super Bowl is, this shit gonna be thrown out. He's just trying to get that song out there.
Shout out to Don Dub. I think we're overlooking his team. He has been talking with the team, and these are moves being made. I don't think it's his team, Don. Like knowing the team and the guys, that's not his team. That's not how they would do things.
Yeah. And this is like another thing also that like.
Shout out to Mark. Go ahead and read Mark's comment.
Yeah, every month or so, I get somebody who agrees with me. Mark, you're the best. I'm agreeing with Pete. Obviously, the smartest guy in the room. Not me, Mark. The Drake brand is about being the top guy for 10 years. His fans live and die by him being the winner. Neither party knows what to do with the loss. Yeah.
Shout out to Sukla. What's going on, Sue?
Sukla.
What's going
on?
Up? Sue?
What's happening?
My brother Michael Love, man. Welcome back from Mexico. Thank you for the gifted 10 digital Soapbox Network memberships. I still don't know what that is, but we grateful for it anyway.
Neither. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, man, whatever it is, I need to figure out what it is. Thank you for that, man.
We have to call Steele and ask about that.
Yeah, I know. Shout out to Black October. Do you think he is suing to protect interests he got in other brand deals? He got contracts with Disney. That's a partnership. You don't want a PDF stain with deals like that. They didn't pull out of the deals. He doesn't need to sue them. Disney understands it's a rap battle. Like the fact that y'all think there's American brands that don't understand what just happened. Like white people are not as clueless as you guys would like to give them to believe they are. They're not that clueless. Nike knows it was a rap battle. Disney knows it was a rap battle. Toronto Raptors know it was a rap battle. Nobody left the battle thinking to themselves, you know what, Drake just might be a pedophile. That's not the thought.
How did Kendrick come up with this information and we all missed it?
Yes. Oh, you know what? Shout out to Kendrick Lamar because we had no idea. Like, that's not what's happening, dog. It don't make sense. Shout out to Nomi Todd. OG, that's speaking making more sense than the whole Twitter world. What he said, true people was just tired of Drake winning. When you win like he did for all them years, only thing left for people to do is see if you get to your head tore off. That could be true.
That's all it was.
That's fine too. You know, again, people get tired of people winning. That's standard. But that still is no reason to behave this way. This is just ridiculous. I'm not reading that, Sue. I'm not reading that, Sue. Sue.
What's so concerned? What's so concerned?
I'm not reading that.
Put it up. Pull it up. Put it up.
No, Chad. Shout out to Neek. What's up, Neek? Drake is pissed. He refuses to believe he lost to Dot. Any other rapper but Dot. You could tell. I think he always been scared of Dot. He's so pissed. He like, how dare you? His ego is going to get the best of him. You know what's funny? Like knowing Dot, right? And he's matured obviously a million miles, but the core of him, I really truly believe I always will know who he is, no matter if I hang with him all the time like I used to, or I don't see him often like I do now, and I talk to him sometimes. I think so. There's a reality to Drake. Drake took him on tour, right? Drake took him on tour, and that was solid. But how he treated him on tour is the problem. And if you don't create that camaraderie with somebody and you think that they should just be grateful that you put them on tour, everybody is not. I was telling my niece this. Everybody is not like Glasses Malone. Like, here's a real story. I don't want to tell it, but I'm going to tell it anyway. When I first got signed to Black Wall Street, right? Shout out to Face and G-Ride. Don't tell the story.
Are you sure you can tell the story without getting sued?
Maybe
I don't want to allow you to, be subject to legal exposure.
Yeah, I'll be fine. I don't think Chuck is gonna sue me.
Oh, okay. So. I thought this had to do with Drake. Never mind.
No. So when I first started fucking with Black Wall Street, 4 Cent, rest in peace, for the most part, brought me to. Most people don't know this, but 4 Bent, or Billboard as they call him as a rapper, brought me to Black Wall Street. Now I knew G-Ride before. G-Ride was a hustler, and everybody around the way knew who G-Ride was. I didn't know Game. I mean, I've seen Jay before because he played at Compton High School, and we would go there in our low riders and watch the game. But I didn't really know him. His brother Face is a legend. Big Face was a legend amongst the generation that's my generation. His homeboy, his young homie, Little Face, and Wack, who you see in the red car that be with Game, not Wack from Pacoima, Paru, not his manager, but Wack from Fruitown. Those were guys I knew from the streets. They used to come to the neighborhood, and I'd be hustling, and they be politicking, and we just had a good time. We had a great relationship. So, but 4 Cent is the guy that took me to G-Ride, Face, and Game. So they thought I had talent, and they decided that I could rock with their movement. And that's where Black Wall Street, Blue Division came from. Fast forward, Game is figuring his way out. Shout out to Jim Jones, because Jim Jones brought a lot of extra validity. I hope Chuck wouldn't get upset offending me for saying this, but what Jim Jones was able to help secure for Game on the East Coast, just like Game gave a lot more credence to Jim Jones being a blood, being out the West and this connection, it benefited both of them. And it really gave him his first hit record. Shout out to Jim for giving Chuck, Certified Gangsters. That's a smash. And it really made me have this different respect from Jim Jones from that day forward. But long story short, Game is starting to take off. He builds this relationship with 50 Cent. He's getting these records, and now it's bubbling. You can see the storm. You can see the wave is coming. That's about to be Game, which actually makes 20 years yesterday or this weekend. It came out January 18th. So shout out to the documentary. It went gold in the first week. But rewind that back. So it's blowing up. It's blowing up. It takes off. Boom. It drops. Gold in the first week. 570. That's incredible. Game is about to go on tour. He's in high demand. Him and Snoop is going on tour. He's getting $30,000 a night to start his career in 2005. Right? He bought everybody chains on Black Wall Street. Everybody except Glasses. Right? And that bothered me. That emotionally bothered me. I felt some kind of way because I'm like, damn, bro, like I'm kicking up all the dust. But again, me and Chuck didn't have this super tough relationship. Me and Face had this relationship. Me and G-Ride, me and 4 Cent, rest in peace, had that relationship. Me and Chuck, We didn't have this great relationship, even though he accepted me as a part of Black Wall Street. And I always felt some kind of way. And I told this story before, but I always felt some kind of way about that. Maybe one day he'll be like, I'm going to get you your Black Wall chain. But he didn't give me one. And I watched Face have to give chains away, knowing that he couldn't give me a chain. Now, I remembered that, but I was so grateful, you know what I'm saying, that he still allowed me to be a part of Black Wall Street. You know what I'm saying? I was still so grateful for him allowing me to be a part of Black Wall Street. That's the only thing that mattered to me, right? So I never tripped. And to this day, I'm always uber grateful for Game. But that's not everybody. Everybody, you can't give them crumbs and they'll thank you like you gave them the loaf. Or everybody don't understand the value of crumbs. So if he's on tour, right, and you're not treating him like family, Kendrick is a Gemini, bro. That dude, you really got to fuck with him to fuck with him. If you have fuck with him, that's not cool. He's not that kind of guy. Not that kind of guy. If you have fuck with him, y'all don't fuck with each other at all. And that's who he is. Everybody you can't give the minimal things to. Some people gonna demand more. Shout out to Revenge. People did lead the battle thinking he a PDF. People are generally not smart. They still didn't think he was a PDF, bro. That was a very minute, ridiculous group of the population. Most of us understood it was a joke. Shout out to Michael Love. Thank you for the $5, my boy. If a like is a platinum record, a membership is a platinum album. My man, thank you for the game.
Got you.
Shout out to Amber Walls from Cleveland. I really look forward to see how Kendrick orchestrates his Super Bowl performance. I think it will be one of the ultimate moments in hip hop history. It's looking really crazy.
That's what I'm saying. He's just promoting Kendrick more. Yo, listen, this is free promotion right now, man. Kendrick.
Hands down.
And thank you, Drake. Thank you, Drake. Thanks, Drake.
What's crazy is, bro. What's crazy is.
You see that? You see that in there? What's the name? I gotta hear that right there, B. Did you see what's out right now?
What's that?
Joey done respond to your boy.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I'm gonna check it out after.
Yeah, we gotta do the spaces on that right there, man.
Well, you shout out to my niece Nay. My mic works.
Hey, what up, Nay?
Niece, you always got the backdoor link. It's one link, so you could always come in. Me and Peter host you. It ain't no thing. Anytime.
Yeah. What up, Nay?
Shout out to Black October. So, Glasses, do you believe that Drake and Dot talked before this battle like Joe Budden said? Sure. I believe it, but I don't know what they said. I'll tell you the difference if I know what they said, because I know what Dot didn't say. Shout out to Neek. I always thought that too. Just by that little speech Drake gave out on tour on stage, I was looking like, oh, he's trying to sun Dot. That's, to me, where the thing really comes from. Just because you took him out on tour when he was hot, you know, if you didn't really embrace him and treat him like you got some sense, again, I keep telling y'all, the Black experiences is how people treat Black people. Culture is how you treat each other. So if you didn't culturally bond with him and treat him in a certain way, it's not going to really, you're not going to get the results you was looking for, obviously. Shout out to P. I don't think they are clueless. I do believe business will use anything for leverage. And as far as believability of the claims, I've heard wishes of harm on the man on multiple occasions. That's just hype. Universal can't you? What can Universal? How could Universal say, "Hey, you know what? We're not going to pay you more because you lost a battle"? That don't make sense. And if that was the case, he could just walk off and do a deal somewhere else. He could drop his project and walk off and do a deal somewhere else.
Yeah. I mean, the other unspoken reality of all of this is he had a song or two in this battle that he put out. It wasn't for lack of access. He wasn't barred in any way, shape, or form from being able to respond, you know, symmetrically.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That shit is really, really, really disappointing.
Unless like my
Christopher, Drake has quite a few fans who identify with MAGA. I think Drake needs to come out and fully condemn Trump, stand on social issues to be legit. Listen, let me say something about
how did Trump get involved?
Let me say something
like,
about
what the fuck? That nigga from Canada.
I don't think MAGA people like Drake at all.
He got a prime minister.
Let me
What
say
the
something.
fuck?
There is no cultural vote happening when it comes to politics. There was only one time in history that there was a cultural sway. One time in history. This whole time, some black people have liked Trump. Some street people especially have liked Trump. You are not black if you vote for Trump. Trump is not any more anti-black than Biden. They are all presidents. It's your choice. Choose who you want. Choose who you want. It don't make you not black if you vote for Trump or Biden. None of it matters. I don't
But
think
Biden said that if you don't vote for him, you ain't black.
he did say that. He did say that. That was crazy. That was some hella goofball shit.
That's when I know he was out. I thought I know he was shot out when he said that shit.
Shout out to the homie Kelvin. Gotta stop looking at celebs and rappers for your political ideas. Learn history and choose for yourself. Exactly, dog. Like, why do y'all keep trying to mention presidents as something that's it?
Asking people to learn and choose. We need a more realistic approach.
Shout out to Revenge. I think he wants out of the deal. It's the single thing that makes sense. That doesn't make sense, Revenge, because he could have gave them the P&D album and walked out of the deal.
The thing that makes sense is parties involved realized the more Drake bitches, the more Universal makes. And there's going to be a NDA settlement where they compensate him handsomely for the bitching in the back door because it's made them so much money. They said, just keep bitching, file a lawsuit, whatever. 6 months, we'll have an NDA undisclosed settlement. We'll make sure you're taken care of.
Yeah, it's not, you can't get out of the deal. You can't get out of the deal. You can't sue yourself out of a deal. Nothing, that is not how you get out of a deal. That's not. It's not if you want to give them the album. You don't want out of the deal. Why the hell would you want out of the deal with the best company, period? That don't make sense. I think people are trying to pull logic to this. And that was my mistake, right? It's not logics. Nothing about this is logical. And I know it's hard because we're looking at someone uber successful in this one specific business. And we like, well, he got to be logical because he's been successful. It's not true. Shout out to Christopher. I'm surprised UMG didn't end Drake's career. Stay tuned.
Yeah. Just watch out. Watch out.
Stay tuned.
Watch out.
Stay tuned.
That's over.
Stay tuned, dog. Like, easily he could have turned in the Party Next Door album, did the business, walked out and did a deal with anybody else. That's not what the contract is saying. The contract is not even asking, hey, you know what? I want to get out of this deal. They could have negotiated to get out of the deal. They were letting go. They own this whole prior catalog. It doesn't make sense.
That's what I was telling them.
Shout out to Neek. I think he wants more money. Drake knows he is not going to get a bigger deal anywhere else. He just wants people to believe he's trying to get out of the deal. Drake ain't. It can't be more money. That don't make sense.
Yeah.
It can't be more money.
The
He
only
can
way
get the same deal with any record label. UMG don't have more money than nobody else in the record business. They all going to the same wells to get the same money.
Unless he's seeing it as he wants more last money because he realizes this was an appraisal nightmare and he needs to get money by hook or by crook now because the damage is so significant that he could put out an album that's going to flop and his market value goes from X to 0.2X.
Yeah, but I'm going to tell you why I don't believe that. Because why would you sue Spotify or iHeart? iHeart pretty much owns 90% of the radio stations worth talking about in the country. Why would you file a petition and move to sue them and get their business under investigation? That doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying?
I think he's almost conceding career devastation and saying the only way I'm going to continue with some, farewell retirement comp deal is through this lawsuit because I'm not going to get another deal after this because I'm worth 20 cents on the dollar what I was last year because of this. Like he needs a severance package, is what I'm saying. I think this is a severance package from the industry in his mind. I'm not saying he's right. I'm saying I think that's how he's looking at it.
Shout out to P. Around the time of Scorpion or Views, I was Ubering at the time in the city of San Francisco. I was playing the album. The convo of the passengers was how they would beat up Drake because he's soft. They 5'8" white boys in flip-flops, by the way. Narratives can make sentiments that can be dangerous. That's just standard with anything. That's standard with being popular. Everybody thinks I sell drugs right now, or everybody thinks a million things of me right now. They could do 1,000 things. None of it matters. Like that's not a reason to. Narratives don't even matter. Narratives of can they whoop his? Can those 5'8" white boys really whoop his ass? That just don't make no sense, man. Shout out to Revenge. This is what the industry people are saying. Those people don't know. Birdman definitely is not saying he's trying to get out his deal, and he would know. It's a long-term play to get out of his deal. That's not a long-term play. I'm just saying that's the only thing people can come to bat with that's anything close to making sense. That don't make sense, Revenge. Because if you had a goal, if your goal was to get out of a deal, you feel me, and still be in the music industry, you wouldn't sue the number one person who promotes your records. That's iHeart. You wouldn't sue the number one distributor of your record in Spotify. Those are people now that cannot offer you any extra opportunities. Like, that don't make sense.
Go. My bad.
That doesn't really make sense, Revenge. Like, that don't make sense. It's not a long-term play. I don't know which industry person, but I'll make sure I have them on to have that conversation with them. It doesn't make sense as a long-term play to get out of his deal. That don't make sense because then you wouldn't sue iHeart. You wouldn't sue the radio stations that you're going to need to market your records anyway. That just don't make sense. You wouldn't sue Spotify. You're going to need them to help you market the record. That don't make sense neither. That's if you need them. Joe Budden, then he's saying he's going to Kanye route. That don't make sense. Kanye needed them. Kanye couldn't make it happen. Kanye had to sneak in the back door of one company so he can get label services. He didn't just go independent. He had to go to a company that wasn't going to fuck with him. Kanye shit is really going through a lot right now, whether people know it or not. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot going on with that. Like they put him out of the door, dog. He put out a record the first week. The record went number one. The company kicked him out the next week. And he didn't even chart the fuck. Revenge. It's a lot to this shit, bro. Trust me, dog. Like this don't make sense. Even if he thought to go independent, and he wouldn't be trying to go to Kanye route. Like there's no, I mean, like Kanye route is no artist wants to go to Kanye didn't want to go to Kanye route. Kanye didn't want to go independent. Kanye talks about how he went to every label and no label would give him a deal. Y'all didn't see that before he put out that album? Like he was trying to get another deal. They all turned their back on him. He did not want to go independent. Kanye did not, nothing about Kanye. He don't want to have to do this. You have to if you piss off a group of people.
Yeah.
Shout out to Christopher. Exhibit explained that Drake underestimated Kendrick. All true. Drake believed that he was invincible because he was carried by Wayne, was welcomed by the industry, but he didn't really rap. I think Drake really raps well. That's probably not true, but I think he overestimated himself. I don't know if he underestimated Kendrick.
And I think that other part where like he did get a really manicured path to stardom, like hyper accelerated. And it might not be that he can't rap, but it's more so like I don't think he appreciated the degree to which like how distinctly an outsider he was relative to everybody else there.
I don't know. This whole thing is just so disappointing, man. It really messed me up spiritually. You know what I mean? Just watching somebody do this, like just dissing. I hate when I see disingenuous people.
You got to see what Jim Jones said about this shit too, though. Jim said some. Like, I don't agree with him though, but some people are seeing this shit in a whole nother way, man.
What do you
They
say?
seeing this. I mean, he basically said, like I said earlier, but we started the stream off that. People looking at that shit like, yo, it ain't like he's suing Kendrick. He's suing a $1 billion company right now, and he's trying to walk away with a bill. I'm saying, how you gonna be mad at him? He said, how many people you know that got lawsuits in the hood? A lot of people got he said he ain't doing nothing but doing a lawsuit. He said he ain't putting on Kendrick. Went on for a long rant though too. I couldn't get with it though.
I mean,
hey, what up?
He's doing the equivalent of, rather than suing the other driver that hit you, I'll sue General Motors because they have a deeper checkbook.
Yeah,
but even that concept, and shout out to Jim and all the Dipset brothers for staying loyal to somebody that they feel like is loyal to them and showed them love. Again, it's cheap love, you know what I mean? Cheap love. So it's like they want to make sense of it, but everybody knows that this is wrong. Cam knows this is wrong. Jim knows it's wrong, and I respect that they're trying to stay loyal to he made the Dipset song and brought them out, and they're trying to stay loyal, but this probably ain't the time, because it's more devastating to people that come from your community that need to come through the same hallways after you. So I don't know if that's wise. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to stand up and be like, hey, that's wrong. If that's really your partner, you feel me, then, he going to understand. He going to respect you. But if you got to just be blind and just agree with people doing things that's more harmful in the long run, it's ridiculous. Shout out to P. If everything you say is true, then his team ain't solid. They folding and just agreeing or not working in his interest. That's what's happening.
That's what I've been saying. This is the problem with living in an echo chamber of people on payroll. Yeah. They are on payroll. You don't get great integrity from your neutral confidants when you're paying them.
Shout out to Revenge. Glasses, what is the in play? What's the positive for Drake? I don't believe he's doing this to double down on being a loser. What's the silver lining for him? There's something somewhere. Okay. The route he's going is only bad. The route he's going can only end badly. Like, it's not like he's not going to win this lawsuit, right? He's not going to win this lawsuit. So everything they start to drag out in court, right? What I'm hoping is he's doing this as a goal to try to stop Kendrick from doing Not Like Us at the Super Bowl.
That's all it is.
He's trying to get people to disassociate from the song. But what he doesn't understand is American business is in business with Americans. So it's no way to label, right, who you are suing, right? You're not going to scare them. They have way deeper pockets than you. They have way deeper connections in this court system than you. They have everything that you don't have. They're in business with the NFL, who's in business with Spotify, who's in business with iHeart, right? So you're not going to move them.
The NFL, who, by the way, is undefeated in the courtrooms in this country.
You said who?
The NFL does not lose court cases in this country. They don't.
Right.
Even when they lose emphatically, believe me, they win on appeal. I could cite examples from here to Sunday. They do not lose in court in this country.
So again, it's one of those things where it's like the song is going to happen. So what I'm hoping is once the song happens, he moves off of it. Once the Grammys happen, he move off of it. But the reality is he's done so much damage to the reputation and the relationship between him and UMG. So it's like when you asking me specifically, like, what is the in play for Drake? I think this wasn't thought out. Like, I know for sure Birdman told him no, and I know for sure Jay Prince said no. I know they said no. I know that for a fact. But what's the in play is, you know what I mean? All he's doing is digging a deeper hole where it's like, how do you climb out of the hole? Like in real life, all of this stuff needs to be dropped. All of this stuff needs to be dropped. You need to focus on dropping a P&D album. You need to go apologize to Universal for being ridiculous. He need to make a song that comes out the same day the Super Bowl happens, state in his case, be dope, do his thing. But if you keep going down this path that you're going, it's a different kind of suicide. It's a different
Severance
kind of
package
suicide. And you're going to,
settlement.
you said who?
It's a severance package settlement. Gasp. Seriously.
I agree with Pete. I agree.
I think he looks at it as this is a
I don't think he
retirement
cares
package I'm
about it.
trying to sue for before this thing goes to trial, in hopes that this group just wants to get the hell out of this situation because
I
I'm
think
done.
This is his way out too. I think so.
Yeah, but even if that's the case, so y'all saying he's conceding of being a musician at this point.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
what it seemed like.
Until
I really feel like that.
look at the cycle. It takes once your star burns out in that genre, it takes about 10 years before now you're throwback. Now you go from being cool to being like nostalgic. So there's going to be a drought window. He wants a big settlement he can negotiate for now to compensate through that before 7-8 years from now. People forget about this. Who cares? You know what? I used to love those songs. I used to, hook up with girls to those songs. Yeah, this will be fun. Me and so we'll go see the live show.
I think hip hop was just a phase. Well, rapping was just a phase for him. I really think so.
I think y'all both are completely wrong.
Because
I agree with the face part.
I think y'all watching him doing. He's not making decisions based off what's the smartest thing. He's making decisions based off how he feels.
I think y'all keep trying to make him like want to still be here, but I really think that he just doesn't want to be here anymore because it's not benefiting him anymore.
I don't think there's nothing that he could benefit him.
Going back to acting?
UMG
He
is
would have
tied
been
in.
doing that.
Oh well.
I haven't seen him dabbling in acting in a long time.
I'm telling y'all, he's having. There's no logical stance for this. It's not even like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna get some money. It's like, oh, I'm mad. There's nothing I can do but this. Versus, like, I don't think he's conceding on being a rapper.
Why don't you think that? His music that he's dropped since the battle has not been the best.
But
I
he's
think he
dropping
definitely
music.
Yeah,
But
he's dropping music,
but he's dropping
he
music.
gets a lot of his validation from
Yeah.
the outside. So
Again.
it's like
100%.
So then he can't not just want to give up music because he's dropping music. I can see if
But
he never
the
dropped
more
another
it
song.
drops, the more it fails, the
his
more
his validation
reinforce
is being
this
on top. It's like he losing
concern.
his
Yeah, it goes from being
magic.
concerned to reality.
Yeah.
So then that means
Now,
so then he still hasn't gave up on dropping music.
He has. Because
just
he
put out- he
gave
just-
us
I mean,
of
so
music,
the
it all
lawsuit
collapsed, and then he filed this suit.
No, he put out so you're saying he won't put out any more music. That's what you think with
I
Drake.
think as soon as
I think he still owes
he
them.
I think as
No,
soon as
but
he
he's not paying them. So it's not like he's trying to pay the debt. Then why is he still dropping music if he doesn't want to rap?
I think as soon as he knew he was going to put this lawsuit out, I think he knew his music career was done.
Yeah.
I
I don't
think
think
he
he
knew
doesn't
that.
want to rap so
Yeah.
much as I think he realizes it's over for me. Get
It's
that
similar
401,
to
man.
it's almost similar. And I hate to do the comparison of it though, but like when Colin Kaepernick sued the NFL, he knew his career was done after that. Know what I'm
I
saying?
don't know.
He
Colin
knew once
thought-
No, he
Oh,
didn't.
you
I
know,
think his career was done
Yeah,
after
he
that.
did. That's why he was
kept
blowing
asking
off
for
tryouts.
it.
did you think it was done after that?
No, I didn't.
I knew he was done after that. I knew he was
the first
done.
podcast we ever did was in
Yeah.
Inglewood with Head and you and me, and I said this was the response to the fact that he was on the cut block the week before the first knee.
Yeah, but he wasn't giving in to playing football. Like y'all got to stop giving people this credit for being this smart.
He did.
and
He
they figured
was
it out.
setting up tryouts for PR and then not showing up at the tryouts
Exactly. He knew it was
He
over.
was showing. Then why would he set up the PR for the tryouts?
because he was doing them for the PR to maintain the relevance.
To maintain the relevance. That's it.
That don't.
Well, as soon as he sold that NFL, it was over. Wasn't no team gonna sign him after that
Y'all
shit.
got to
It
stop
was
thinking
done.
that these
before that.
people. Y'all
He
got to
did
stop
that.
thinking
No.
that
His career was over. His talent wise, like I always say like that though. But he could have been a third string or a second string somewhere though. You know what I'm saying? Like that could have happened right there. He didn't want that though. As soon as he sued the NFL, they wasn't gonna get that man no job no more. That's the same thing with Drake right now.
But that was a $90 million pay cut he was poised to take to do that.
To go third string.
He would have had to have killed that contract to get picked up off of a different waiver stream to be able to come back and get paid like a third string quarterback. He was like the third or fourth highest paid contract in the NFL, and they realized this is a terrible deal.
I don't think he was done with football when he did that.
Oh,
I
he
think
was
he
done.
did something that he thought was going to matter, and he thought he would find his way back to football. Like I think
agree.
Drake is doing the same thing from an emotional place, but he think he gonna find his way back to music. He's
I don't
not.
think-
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, Glasses.
But the thing,
Go ahead, man.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, man. Now, I just want to say, what would you do if one of your employees sued you as they was working for you? Are you going to
That's gonna
continue?
be the worst thing in the world.
Like what? Even though I'm not gonna lie, even though my cousin worked at the hospital, he got hit in the head. He got hit in the head with some shit like in a surgery room or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Had like a gash or some shit. Sued the what's name? Stayed out on fucking sick leave because of the injury and shit like that. Sued the hospital, got his money, and then went back to work.
No.
And
And
I'm
there's
telling
a
y'all,
reason why there's laws against like retributive termination, over that.
I'm telling y'all again, man.
So
I'm
they hold on
telling
to the
y'all again.
contract.
He's not
So
thinking.
my thing is, okay, so where does he go after this? With all the bad decisions, what's next?
I don't think he really made a bunch of bad decisions. He just lost the battle. This is the first bad decision.
You don't
I'm talking
think Taylor made was a bad decision?
He made a lot
That's
of bad
that's creatively a bad decision. That's not a bad decision. Like this is the first bad business decision I've seen him make. That's bad creatively for a battle. This is like almost career suicide. But I think he's either, you know what? It's the same thing. He's overrating himself. He don't quite realize what's happening. And I know it seemed like he should because he made, hundreds of millions of dollars off of this shit at this point.
So he didn't realize that he was just the product. He thought he was the bigger.
No, he don't.
Yeah.
He do not think he's just a product.
Oh,
Of course not. Nobody wants to ever believe that.
Yes.
Very few people
only-
have that sort of wherewithal.
Yes. There you go. That's the word. Wherewithal. I think, shout out to Amber Wall. She said just what I thought. It's just his feelings are extremely hurt and confused about not being like us. His last drop was dissing LeBron, for Christ's sake. He's butthurt, spiraling out of control. It's all emotional. I agree. I think we're looking at somebody whose feelings are so hurt that they just need to try to get their lick back. You ever been in a fight with somebody?
Self-destruct himself.
You ever been in a fight with somebody and they fight you and they can't whoop you, but they just want to hit you so bad, so it allows you to hit them like 12 times because they just keep trying to hit you. And it's like I've had my shout out to my little brother. He used to be like that. He couldn't whoop me to save his life.
Who?
Vincent, Uncle Vincent, he couldn't whoop me ever. Like, cause I was good at fighting. I was taller, longer, more coordinated. And he would try to hit me and I would be whooping him. And every time he'd just get he wanted to land one lick and it made him just become vulnerable to every punch. This is homeboys in the hood, like different homies, like, like they get so mad they can't win that they just start running forward at you. And it's like, now you're wide open. Here's a jab. Here's a right. Here's a left, uppercut, hook. Because you really not focused. He's doing that right now, corporately. Like he's so, I think this has to be the truth. He's so fucked up that he's just running in like,
Just
and we can't believe it because he's rich or he's successful or he's famous. And it's like, that still doesn't matter. Like
I think that was the 13 tracks he put out that all flopped. I think this is, okay, I did that. Now I'm done.
Look, we'll see. We'll see if he tries to put out a song or a freestyle in the middle of this. I don't think he's done. I think he's been doing it too long to be done.
So you're
I
just
think
saying he
he's
just
been
don't
doing it.
know
Might
where to
get the
he just don't know
expectation
where to
for it.
go from here. Is
He
that what you're
just
saying?
don't know what to do. Like he
Gotcha.
don't like it seems like it's so simple for us, but it's not simple for him. You know what I mean? Like, how do you tell a motherfucker that's been winning all of this time that, hey, you know what, be okay with losing? How? Remember, remind you, he got Pusha
But
T
then it's
song
like you
took
don't
down.
okay, but he don't go against the system that's helping you win. Like
Yeah, but he's suing them because they're marketing a song in a battle with him. Like,
that's what I'm
think about
saying.
that.
Like you don't like if that's the case, if you trying to get like the lawsuit is just super stupid now. Like it just that analogy makes it even more dumb.
But think
Because if
about the
you're trying to
lawsuit.
get back, why would you go against the people
Niche,
that's
think
been
about
helping
the
you?
lawsuit. It's dumb already. Man. Like, he's saying, like, he tried to get them to take down the song in July. It came out in May. Hey,
Right.
you know what? This song is causing me danger. Universal is like, what the
Yeah,
hell
I
are
know.
you
I didn't
talking
read it, but
about?
I heard that he said it was anti-Semitic and some other stuff. And
No, but
He
I'm
got a
saying
bunch of shit.
way before this lawsuit, he reached out to them. Like, look at how he's thinking.
oh,
In May 4th, the song comes out. In July, he has his counsel reach out like, hey, y'all need to get rid of that song. It's causing me danger. And they like, man, this song is a smash hit record. Remember, it's on the song every day at this point. It's on the radio
hmm
every day in Canada, not just here in Canada. It's the #1 song. So he's like, hey, you know, it's causing me harm. It's causing me mental stress and danger is coming to my house because of this song. And they looking at him
Somebody
like,
said because he knows that the same system made his opponent popular.
but that doesn't even make every
I,
system, it makes everybody popular. But he's still like this. They like, you want us to do what? They looking at him. This is a huge record for them. This is their biggest record of last year. They like, what? We told you don't go into this battle. We
Told you
told
that boy
you
Long.
don't go
Told
into
you
this
that boy
battle.
Long.
Now we got a smash hit record out of this battle. Oh, we finna sell this motherfucker all this day money last year. The record is finna be diamond. And this is what I was saying Friday. The record is going to
mhm.
be diamond in less than a year. Universal is not bailing out on
Taking
this
that
record.
down. Yeah, I
What?
get you.
This coin.
It made them way too much money. Way too much
This is
money.
real coin right here. They got an album. They like, oh, hell yeah.
But okay, so is he saying that that record that he can still make up that money from that record, like him being who he is at the top?
No,
No,
because a hit
no,
record is a hit record. This is a once in a decade type of record. These records don't
no.
come often like that. You know what I mean? Maybe the last one UMG had from a rap perspective is probably like God's Plan. You know what I mean? They don't
Mm,
have a lot of these records. A lot of records they fluff up and build them all up. You know what I mean? They have to
mhm.
over promote them and over market them. You know what I'm saying? Like they got a lot of stuff. You know what I
I
mean? They
just
take a lot.
realized. I just realized, right? We've been so focused on him trying to stop the Super Bowl. No, he don't want this nigga to win a Grammy, B, off this shit.
Yeah, but this does nothing but
Fuck the
market
Super Bowl. No, the Grammy Academy was not. If by him pushing this shit about the defamation and shit, the Grammy Academy gonna be like, bro, nah, we can't get this man a Grammy off.
They're
No, he
not
got a
going to
defamation.
listen. They're not going to do that. Like I
Okay,
get the thought. I'm not mad at the
okay,
thought, but they're not going to not do that. Right now, they're
okay.
going to rebel against his tyranny. Like he's coming across tyrannical. You get what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
because he think because of the numbers and because of where he's been on his last 15-year run that he think he the industry. He like I made y'all this money. I did
That's
this.
how
I
he's
did that.
talking. He's tyrannical.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
they're
yeah.
looking at him
Like without
threatening
me, y'all
UMG.
nothing.
They
Yeah.
looking at him talk shit about UMG. They looking at him talk shit about LeBron James, Spotify. They're like, oh, you think you really tyrannical?
Yeah.
You gonna just tell us what to do and watch America buck. America is notoriously good at bucking. If you play with them, they will come together and buck. And that's what you see happening. Nothing he's doing is going to stop this on. It's actually only marketing what's
The
happening.
song. Yeah.
The song
Yeah.
is going to be back in the top 10. I told y'all this. Like something is going to happen to make this song pop up every year for us.
Did you
Like
did y'all record already about the thing?
What?
What's that?
You said you was gonna. What I sent you last night. You said you didn't watch it because y'all was gonna record. Did you already record?
No, we're supposed to do it after.
Okay, dang. I want you to watch it because they speak from
I
it
gotta do it
a
after.
spiritual perspective, and it's.
Yeah, I don't want
When
to
I
take
said they
anybody's
said the
content.
same thing that you saying, it was
Yeah.
kind of like, I'm like, I don't know. It's crazy to hear it. It was crazy to hear it.
Shout out to P. If your business partner turn on you, what you supposed to do? They didn't turn on you, P.
But is that his business partner or is that his boss?
No, listen, they didn't turn on you. The rapper turned on you. Their job is to market records. You're not the only person signed to the record label.
That's what I said. Is that his business partner or is that his boss? Like, is that?
I'm saying it could be his business partner, whatever you want, but you are not their only partner. They have multiple partnerships. Like, it don't stop with you. Like, and what do you want them to do? What do you really expect Universal to do? You know what, Kendrick? You know what? This is too far. You just said this about his wife, his kids, and his this, but this right here is too far. You need to take this out.
Went too far. Get it out of here.
And Universal is effectively his customer. They're a wholesaler, essentially. He's a producer. He creates, and he has an exclusive contract with a wholesaler in the form of Universal that then puts stuff out to retail distributors of the like in the form of Spotify and whatever else. He just can't sell to anybody else. It'd be like some manufacturer of mufflers having an exclusive deal with Chrysler. Only Chrysler can buy their mufflers.
Shout out to Revenge. This is called a conflict of interest, Glasses. He out of it. It's not a conflict of interest. It's artistic creative. Like, it's not a conflict. The NFL don't work that way. They don't root for nobody. They push all the records. Whichever record jumps out, that's what they market. That's like because somebody else has a #1 song and your record is #9. You're like, well, they ain't pushing mine. That's what are you talking about? That's not a conflict of interest. That's why you don't get into battles. If you don't want to battle, don't get into battles. You can't blame UMG for your dumb ass shit.
Yeah, true.
They put his stuff out too.
They put everybody's stuff out. They just put out Snoop album. They don't fucking care. That's they shit. They don't care about that.
But a lot of people are thinking that Universal is working off of feelings, and Universal is just business, straight business. What makes sense for the business? People
it's
thinking
just
like
crazy. Like, that shit just weird. Like they were supposed to go to him and say, hey, you know what, you need to we're going to let you say what you said in your record, but see, what we're going to do for him is we're going to stop what he said in his record. It's just you. What are you doing? That's why you don't battle with people.
Because he feels like maybe that he brings in the most money, the most this, the most that. I broke all the records. I did everything. Like, he feels like they owe him maybe. I don't know.
I seen somebody say the other day that Drake is like responsible for single-handedly like getting streaming off the ground. You know what I'm saying? On some real shit. No, and then like when they were saying it though, it kind of made sense though too. It was like he was the one that's why Apple gave him the deal and all that shit. Like he was launching like he made people like want to go over to streaming and leaving hard copies alone. He was one of the front. He was one like the person who like they used his face as the shit though like that. And I kind of agree with it though too.
This is not true. It don't matter. They are supposed to promote everyone's record, and it's not an unless. It don't matter if it's detrimental to your business partnership. It's not detrimental. Their job is, they're a record company. Their sole job is to promote records. They cannot say, we're not going to promote this record. If you're signed to a record company, what the fuck are y'all? It's this simple. The Big Mac is not more special than a chicken nugget. The Big Mac is not more special than a cheeseburger. They're all McDonald's products. The Big Mac can't get mad that it's the chicken nuggets week to make it happen. It's the chicken nuggets this week. They carrying the show. Big Mac is late. The cheeseburger is the original. The cheeseburger is the original belle of the ball. The simple cheeseburger. It can't get mad that the Big Mac took over. Big Mac can't get mad that the cheeseburger took over. When it's the McRib time of year, it's the McRib time of year. You can't get upset that it's somebody else's time. Don't fuck around. If you don't want to fuck around, don't fuck around, bro. Don't fuck around.
So, do
Shit.
you think this is gonna go to trial?
Hell no. I mean, but you never know. I can't shit. I don't know. These white folks surprise me every time.
Never.
You don't think he got a
can
case?
expect to predict what a
P
judge
says
will-
no.
will-
P says it's gonna be really tough
Okay,
to
so
get
I
wait,
can
it.
P, if it
respond
goes
back
to
to it.
trial, what does it look like if it goes to trial?
All right, let me go through these super chats before we bounce out of here one more time. Shout out to Ace. Thank you for the $5. Yo, Glasses, I gotta ask what you think about Drake not allowing PG Lang outfits at his new concert out of concern for his safety. I hope that's a
Oh
lie.
my gosh.
It don't
That's
seem
right.
like it's a lie.
It came back out. Somebody
Yeah.
sent it to me on
That's
Twitter
true?
too. It's true. It's
It
true.
don't seem like it's a lie. It
That's
seems like it's
true?
an official thing,
Yeah.
but again, it goes into his ego being really messed up.
Oh my gosh.
Which brings
It's
me to the
true.
next super chat. Thank you, Trees. Thank you for the $5, my boy. Bruised egos can lead to your own death. That's what happened right now. That's what's happening right now with Drake. And you're right.
Mhm.
It is true. It looks like that. Shout out to Trees Lord again for the $5. I think Drake not dropping music because he doesn't know what to rap about anymore. He can't rap about being number one anymore or women in the same light. Of course he can. He was number one last year. He could come out with a song right now and say, I was a number one stream artist in rap music for 2024. Of course he can. Shout out to Not For Sale 206, the Northwest. What's up, brother? Thank you for that $5. Drake should have stuck to his comeback season. So far gone persona. I feel like the industry empowered his fake tough image. No, I think hip hop grants people access into culture that they wouldn't have without it. And I think he loved the camaraderie of it all, the respect of it all, and he just was greedy. And now he got too deep, and it's tough. Shout out to Cam. Thank you for the $5. I am praying for Kendrick. I wish Drake would go away. I'm praying for Kendrick too, but I don't care if Drake go anywhere. He don't got to go anywhere. I don't care. Shout
Somebody
out to
said
Michael
Trump is the
Love.
Twitter
Thank you
app.
for the 10 Digital Soapbox Network memberships. We appreciate those 10, my boy. Always love. Shout out to Michael
Got the
Love
platinum
again. Thank you
album.
for that $5. If a like is a platinum record, a membership is a platinum album. My man. Shout out to P. UMG, stay out of it. Distribute, but don't promote. We call this a sport lot, third party, and one of one shouldn't be acceptable. What are you talking about? So then what do you feel about the record they promoted for him?
Oh man, these Drake fans, man. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, man.
Shout out to Revenge. At some point, we can't be so biased. I am not biased.
If we
That
biased,
you
what are
think-
y'all?
That you think Drake is only committing suicide. I'm not being biased. That's just logically in the history of the move he's pulling that says it's suicide. That's not what's happening. There's an end goal. I'm not saying I'm on Drake's side or agree with it, but be fit for real. Critical think. I am critical thinking with knowledge of the music business. Michael Jackson did it. It was suicide. Prince did it. It was suicide. They don't
And
come
they did
back.
it for better reasons, though. That's the thing.
And they did it for real reasons.
Real reasons.
You're not going to win this. They're not cheating anybody. Like you can only win if they cheat you out of money. You can't win because somebody else that you're competing with that's going to pop up in court is saying, hey, this is how we're competing. Like again, if it was a logical point, I'd be in. Like it don't make sense to me. Like, oh, don't promote this one record, just distribute the records. What are you talking about? It's a smash hit record. What are they in the business of just distributing music for free? No, they're trying to make records huge. Like, what are y'all thinking, dog? Like, this ain't the first time two people that was signed to major distribution companies or record companies beef before. Game and 50 Cent beef, same record company. Def Jam was with Island. Island was with UMG. That was with 50 Cent. Like, what are y'all doing? This ain't something new. This ain't something new.
All right. I gotta take
Last one. Revenge. Watch how this shake out. Drake gonna close out of court with a win. Zero chance.
He
Revenge.
got
What?
zero chance that this is not
Zero
win
chance.
case, man.
Revenge. it's
Yeah,
gonna
y'all
be a
Drake
bad
fans,
law.
man. Y'all gotta stop.
Yeah, it's
Y'all
gonna be
Aubrey
a bad
Angels gotta
law.
stop, man.
This
Y'all
will
Aubrey
be the
Angels gotta
worst.
stop.
Yeah, like
Gotta
what
stop,
are
man.
you? Like
Gotta
you.
stop.
I want the best for him, but I also want him to do what's best for him. Like
And
I
the
don't.
crazy part about it, if this go to trial, this would be the worst thing for Drake because you know they coming with all UMG about to come with every single last spot. They about to come with everything. And
And the
nah,
worst part is if they start to investigate what actually happened. Like your house getting shot up. Like you could turn on some people that can create a problem. Like stop doing it because you're playing that. Stop.
That's why I think this is settlement oriented because discovery cuts both ways once you get started.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
So
I mean, but
again,
it
we
would
out
be
of
fun
here.
to watch. It was be a funny
Man,
court.
it's gonna keep marketing this song. Like, imagine them reading it. Imagine they playing this whole civil court on TV and they reading those lyrics out loud. That shit gonna keep that song so popping. That song gonna be 2 times down by the end of the year.
Somebody said, "Trap, what's your Twitter handle? Where can they find you?"
Trap Bradshaw. Trap Bradshaw. Or
Trap
ADHD
Bradshaw.
Podcast.
Pete, do you have a Twitter
Trap
yet?
Bradshaw.
I still haven't been able to get signed into the one Squish made. I've tried all the passwords like 50 times a piece, maybe 20 times, but I can't get signed in. I don't know what the hell's going on. Multiple devices, multiple browsers, multiple app stores. No luck.
How
Yeah,
is
they
that
locked me
possible?
out,
They can't
so
just
I don't
block you
know.
out if you.
I don't think it's
sign in
blocked.
from-
Something's either the password things I got sent didn't match, or something didn't work out there.
So what I need to do is
somewhere.
send you a phone that already got your Twitter handle in it.
I just got a brand new phone that's not linked to anything with its new everything. Like it's new, brand new out the box, different profile, different everything, no number attached to it, nothing. It is clean as a whistle. Something didn't match with the password or something like that. I've been
It's
trying
probably
it
that
for
2-step factor or whatever, because that's what got me logged out. I can't get in.
Yeah, that'll do it.
But shout out to
Right now.
Revenge. I'm the only guy in the room who doesn't feel it once. No, Revenge, you're hopeful, and I think that's great to be hopeful. But it's he's not gonna win this lawsuit, Revenge. It's not that I don't want him to. That could be one thing, but he's not gonna win it because they're gonna look at what's happening. The evidence is not going to give him credence. It's just not gonna work that way.
I'm not biased. I'm not a fan of either.
Yeah, he don't even want to talk about it. But anyway, No Ceilings Live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon Pacific Standard Time. Pacific Standard Time right here on Digital Soapbox. Click that thumbs up button one more time for you, Jet. Up out of here. Again, we do the No Ceilings stream to support the No Ceilings podcast right below in the description. No Ceilings podcast. New episode dropping tomorrow. Apple Podcasts, iHeart Podcasts, and anywhere you get your podcast from. The No Ceilings podcast, executive produced by Charlemagne the God, the Black Effect Network, and iHeart. And we out this thing, man. Much love. See y'all Wednesday.
Yeah.